So our application is a Pokemon trivia app. So it contains a place utilizing the Pokemon API. It utilizes a place where you can look up Pokemon. You can see associated moves with that Pokemon. You can see generations of the Pokemon game where that Pokemon first appeared. And we also built in a Bane of Our Existence quiz, pulling from the API to randomly generate questions. So every single time you do a question, you won't get the same question. You might in this case because we only had 10. But the nice part is we could do like 1,000, and we could build more questions. So here's the home page. If I want to just go with a existing user, I can do that, and it will validate, and we can log in. So it takes you to your landing page where you can see Pokemon. If you want to browse Pokemon, you can see the moves that those Pokemon have, and you can also take a quiz. And this is our little logo here in the bottom. I consulted. My fiance likes to do graphic design, so I sketched something out, and I was like, "Can you make this a thing?" So let's start with going into Pokemon. So let's browse by Pokemon. So this just lists the 10 Pokemon that we have here. We can search by specific ones if we want to.
Those 10 are from the API. We just limited it to 10 because there's like a bunch. So
there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Yeah, so we can go back, and if we want to actually search by move too, so see who of here can know Ice Punch, then we can search, and we'll pull up all the Pokemon that can learn Ice Punch. And we also have partial searches here, so if this were 1,000 and you wanted to just type in Char, then it would pull up all Pokemon that have Char in it. And so this would be a lot more useful if there's 1,000 and not 10. And we have links here at the bottom where you can go home at any point, or if you want to go directly to moves. So you can either go home and then to moves. Sorry, this is taking a second to render. You can do it that way, or you can actually just link them here at the bottom. You can go back and forth between the two. We didn't have time to implement the same search functionality on the moves. We were kind of putting out fires with our quiz for the past day or two, which Nathan will get to show you. We're going to go home, and then we're going to quiz me. Right.
And that's our project. So, well, that's it. Can you just click through it as I talk about it?
Yeah. Sorry, it's kind of the formatting here is a little jacked up.
Yeah, this is our quiz. So the question, the Thunder Punch there, that's chosen from the database, and one of those is the correct answer, and 3 are incorrect, and we've got it set up so that it won't repeat incorrect answers.
Sure.
So all of the actual associations are just sampled. So it won't necessarily be the way it actually is from the PokéAPI. So we don't know what the right answer is unless we check the data.
Hey, we got it right.
Oh, we got it right.
Yep.
Yeah. So the main thing that was challenging here was just making sure that we didn't have repeats of our incorrect options, and also we wanted to have a quiz where there'd basically be an infinite number of questions, and if you had 900 Pokemon and a bunch of moves, every question would have every move would have a bunch of possible correct Pokemon. They also have a ton of variations of incorrect Pokemon, so in a way, there's almost infinite questions really just off of this
Yeah, and if this is just, one question, we could potentially generate 10, 15, 20 more questions, and then pull in like 1,000 Pokemon and 1,000 moves, and then we would have like 100 questions to choose from 1,000 Pokemon and 1,000 moves and different formats of questions. So you could have a lot of different combinations.
You would never see the same question twice. But even with this, if you had a full loaded API, you'd never see the same combination twice, most likely.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun, but also not fun.
Yes, it was. It was a challenge, to say the least.
Yeah, because you don't have a table for your answers or anything. You're creating it every time you go to the page. So you're actually creating the database entry in questions that has the correct answer and all of the options, and one of those options is the correct answer, and then you also have the content of the question created as well every time.
Yep. I'll go back, and then I'll log out and show you that you can create a new user. So,
Charles,
I mean, we have to at this point, like just for, and then verify here. So then Charles can come in, and then he can go.
And then I'll go to his quiz to see, just to verify that it was.
Well, never mind. We didn't get the sessions correct tally to work, but for all the things else, we got the quiz to work at least. So that's randomly generated. That's it. Questions?
Biddy.
Can you show us the database when you are creating a question?
Yeah.
Creating inside the database those questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and pull up the quiz and then. Any other questions while we pull it up? Yeah. Were there any challenges interacting with the API? Yeah, so that's a well, actually, we initially on day one were doing a Star Wars project, and about by 2 o'clock we had to switch to a different API because their API had a bunch of issues with it. So we kind of switched to Pokemon, and the models kind of just switched over. But we ended up having to change our models too on day 2 because we had some problems with that. So yeah, I think this whole project for us was just constant putting out fires. But yeah, the PokéAPI didn't match our models, completely. So there were some issues with that, and that's why we ended up using sampled associations between the Pokemon and the moves, because we just so all of the Pokemon, when it asks, does this Pokemon have Fire Punch? That Pokemon doesn't necessarily have it. We just, on our joiner table, took samples of the Pokemon IDs and the move IDs. So we just set random associations between the Pokemon and the moves. No, we just, in the seed file, we just sampled them. Oh, no, it wasn't a feature, no. And yeah, so
if we, to show that to Biddy's so I'm going to submit this, and then a new one will load. So I'm going to go to the database. So if I refresh, now you can see every time the page loads, a new question is added into the questions database.
Yep, and you'll see that there's this correct answer is each time. Because it's random.
So is the question database set up by user or is it set up as its own independent?
It's its own independent model.
So if you wanted to pull statistics or something like that, and you wanted to throw in user ID as well as correct or incorrect, you run stats on it.
Things associated. So, but yeah, in theory, but we have to work out some of the kinks.
Yeah, the question, sorry for the people not, was was the question, did we have a separate model? Was that what you asked for the questions? And the answer is yes.
And are the answers drawn from the API or?
So
Were the answers drawn from the API? Was the question?
yeah. So the answers come from the database. So
They're actually, the correct answer is actually correct.
yes, yeah.
Yep.
It compares the user's answer to the correct answer, which is an attribute of
So in
questions.
other words, you first take the correct answer, and you sample 3 others.
So yeah, exactly, and we delete it. So sorry, can you repeat that question?
The question was, so you, to clarify, you are first grabbing the correct answer. You need 4 of them. You randomly sample 3 more.
So we first grab the correct answer by associating the move ID to the Pokemon ID, and then we then grab the incorrect Pokemon from, we use a query for where not to grab the movement that don't have the ID. Then one of the issues that we came up with, that we came across, was that Pokemon have different moves. So we were getting correct Pokemon in our incorrect Pokemon list because they had moves that also didn't have that move ID. So yeah, we had to end up getting rid of those Pokemon from that array.
The code for this quiz is a monstrosity that I hope no one has to lay eyes on.
We're not going to show it.
I apologize to Scott and Vinny having to navigate through that bomb. Yes, it was creativity. We were being scrappy, as Flatiron likes to say.
And like the quiz is really funny because like our initial idea with this project was we want to have a bomb ass search engine, and and then as an afterthought we were like, we'll throw in a quiz, and then like
very quickly shifted,
and then the entire project became getting the quiz to work, and now our search engine doesn't even have like there's some problems with the search engine. Like one of the things that we wanted to get to was making it so that if you put something into name and move, that you would have that would be able to work. And right now it would just default to a search by the name. So there's a lot of things we wanted to get to with the search stuff that we couldn't get to because the quiz just sucked all our time.
Yes, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and I thought it was kind of just like constant putting out fires. I felt like, I kept wandering over to Kevin and being like, help me, please. Yeah.
I know, me personally, this was like the first time I really got to interact with front-end stuff, and I loved it. I'm really, really excited for JavaScript to get away from all these queries, and I love just making things look nice. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.